Summit Racing Equipment Performance Tip. You talk about true race equipment, we're looking at a new carburetor called Demon. These King Demon carburetors basically have all the modifications done right out of the box. We've got a lot of external niceties about these. They really look new and different, which they are. But all of those expensive modifications that we had to do to the OEM-style carburetors have already been handled. This is truly a race carburetor you can put on out of the box. This will be the Pro Stock carburetor of the future. It has removable venturis, removable boosters, all billet base plates, no porosity, all billet metering blocks, sight glasses for fuel levels. Everything is built into this carburetor. There's not much more you can say about it except it's going to save you a lot of money over all those expensive modifications that you've had done to your OEM stock carburetor. So look to King Demons to rule a racetrack in '99.
Thank you very much, Bill. When we come back to Rockingham, this man, Doug Winters, will try to stop Bill Kuhlman's win streak. Don't go away.
Nature's perfect.
French fries and hot dogs, the standard food at a drag strip. Ted Jones here with you. We're ready to go with the semifinal round of the Nitro Coupe. You're on board with Mel Eves as he does his burnout. You can see that smoke from the tires coming up right there. The Mega Power sponsored 1963 Corvette. And here comes his opponent, Randy Merrick from Zalma, Missouri, as Mel begins to back the Corvette up. They'll stage them very carefully. Starting line reflexes are everything in drag racing, and this time Randy Merrick first off the line with a 477 reaction time. He's horsepower. Nosed him out barely. 651, 211 miles per hour. What a side-by-side drag race. Take another look at it as we slow them down for you. Nitro Coupes, ladies and gentlemen, going 211, 214 miles per hour. And when it all came down to the quarter mile, this is exactly how close it was. Merrick almost got him.
Boy, that was a job. Track got loose, and I saw him beside me, and we just stayed in it. I don't know, did you see any smoke? Did we hear anything?
Just that same tad of smoke at the finish line that was there last time, but you said it was nothing.
Nothing. We can't figure it out. The motor sounded good. It pulled all the way through.
Well, it did step up. It was 651 to 658.
No kidding. Wow.
On this track.
What a race.
Like we talked about, having no basic information to fall back on. That's impressive.
I had no idea we were going that fast, I'll be honest with you.
211 to 214 for Merrick.
Wow. Thanks a lot.
Good job.
Thanks.
Oh, they got him a humming. Here's our other pair in the semifinal round. That is Bill Kuhlman right there. Vicky Shields, his crew chief, backing him up as you're on board with 200-mile-per-hour Bill. You can see Vicky tells him stop. They pull forward. They stage carefully in the near lane. Doug Winters, the 1958 Corvette, give the starting line advantage to Winters. 41 reaction time. Here comes Kuhlman. Does he have enough? No! Kuhlman breaks a blower valve as it goes flying over the roof of the car. Doug Winters, your winner, with a 665. They have stopped the win streak of Bill Kuhlman. Let's take a look and see what happened. Actually, the intake manifold breaks, and of course, then that broke the blower valve.
Hey, home state.
Yeah, man, it's our home track, only an hour away from our house, and feels good to get a win here.
This ESPN2 Speed World coverage of the Super Chevy Series is brought to you by Mega Power. Reach for the power. And by RaceScan Communications of Johnson City, Tennessee. In addition to the Nitro Coupes and Jets here this weekend, they also have sportsman cars running in ET brackets. And with a very unusual entry, here's Brett Kempner.
Now, just about everybody knows that the most efficient way to make a car go fast is to take your available power and put it in the lightest possible package, right? Unless you go to extremes. You're looking at a first, as far as this report is concerned, a front-engine, V8-powered Pontiac Fiero. Now, you might remember the Fiero as one of the lightest production cars of the last couple of decades. When Pontiac produced these things, they were all plastic and seldom weighed over 2,600 pounds or so. However, they also came with one of the shortest wheelbases of recent memory, which made them a handful even in street trim. Mike Gable out of North Carolina created this masterpiece, and I got to tell you, this is engineering at its finest. But you have to wonder, what was this guy thinking? Something tells me that this was probably a matter of you and your buddies and a couple of cases that brought this idea up.
Plenty of cases.
Well, Steve Gable will be the first to admit that this car is no showpiece, but it doesn't have to be, because we will obviously take the time to spotlight engineering ingenuity anytime we can. And this, my friends, is about as ingenious as you can get. It's down to 2,200 pounds now using stock body panels. And again, the car doesn't need that much horsepower to dip into the 6-second zone 8th mile wise because of that light weight. But no matter what, nobody's really gone to this extent to make a Fiero a competitive race car before, so we'll give Steve credit for this one.
We'll take a break from the action. When we come back, these two competitors will face off in the final. Put that remote down.
Motorsports.
Back in Rockingham, North Carolina for the Super Chevy Series, a couple good old boys look over some of the show trucks down in the car show area. But we're back up on the drag strip, and it's jet time one more time. It'll be Jerry Gannon, who won the first round, taking on Fran Pepler and the Rock and Roll Thunder. These are funny cars, jet funny cars, but Nitro Coupe will be following them. Let's check in with Brett Kepner. He's down in Doug Winter's pit area with the inside scoop.
With a brand new sponsor for 1999, Doug Winter still has to face one basic fact of reality, and that's that he's a budget racer. And in the nitromethane category, that will restrict your performance quicker than anything else will. Now, luckily, after the semifinals, we found out that the smoke we saw at the top end was not that serious of a problem.
No, it's just blow by. You know, you add a lot of nitro, you get a lot of pressure in the engine, and we just pushed out a little too much oil that time and got on a little header. So, well, luckily, we're all right.
Yeah, that's good news. It may have looked like there was going to be problems, but you didn't have to thrash. But you know that Mel Eves has a combination that works. You saw him go 6.51 seconds. You're not within a tenth of that. So you know he's going to make you come to him in the final. He's going to leave his combination alone. He's going to expect you to try and match it. Can you?
Yeah, I think we found a tenth. The clutch was a little soft on that time, so we tightened up the clutch and stepped on a little bit more and see what we can do. When we get him off the line, we got a chance.
Well, meanwhile, over at Mel Eves' pit, preparing for the final round, that puff of smoke that has mysteriously appeared at the end of every full run they've made so far this weekend has turned out to be nothing more than the chassis unloading as the car goes over the infamous Rockingham bump at the finish line, which is really a downhill ride, and that's causing the tires to rub the inside of the fenders. So now they know the smoke's coming just from the tires rubbing. They know there's no engine problem. Their 650 combination is ready to go for the final round.
All right, Brett Kepner, but right now the final round of the jet cars. Jerry Gannon and Fran Pepler. First off the starting line, Jerry Gannon puts a gate job on her and takes her all the way through 575, 276 miles per hour. Make it 2 in a row for the Roger Custom machine. Burning out for the final is Doug Winters and Mel Eves, and Brett Kepner's down on top end with some important last-minute information. Brett?
Well, Ted, now that Mel Eves can't hear us, I can go ahead and break our silence. Remember a few minutes ago when Doug Winters told you that he was very confident about his chances in this final round? Well, that was true, until they test-fired the car in the pits. It burned up an O-ring, which is a wire ring that seals the cylinder to the combustion chamber. That was damaged in the number 2 cylinder. They took the rocker arm off that cylinder so that it's completely inoperative. In other words, the TPI Corvette is running on 7 cylinders. He's pulling to the starting line, hoping to bluff Mel Eves into making a mistake.
Well, let's see if he can do it. Nitro Coupe final. They're staged up and ready to go. Remember, he hopes Mel Eves will red light. He doesn't. He's on a good pass with a 480 reaction time. Mel Eves, 647, 213 miles per hour, picks up a very easy win. And he'll receive the news from his crew chief on his race scan radio. Brett Kepner's with him.
Doug, he's a competitor. He's really doing good this year. I'm real proud of him.
He's more than a competitor because he was playing a game with you in the final round. They burned up an O-ring in the pits just before the final. He made that cylinder inoperative and went up there hoping you'd make a mistake.
Well, thanks for telling me. I appreciate that. You devil, you. Great job.
I even tried to deep stage on you to see what
I saw you go in. I thought, what's going on, you know?
I said, well, maybe I'll go red.
Thanks again. That was great. Great. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And with that, Mel Eves moves up into the number 2 position right behind Bill Coolman. Now, if you'd like to attend a Super Chevy event, here are some of the events coming up in the area. That's a wrap from Rockingham, North Carolina. This is Ted Jones for Brett Kepner. So long, everyone. In the Appalachian Mountains of Tennessee have echoed with the power of drag cars at full throttle. But the legendary Thunder Valley is officially back in action with the Super Chevy Show for 1999, which initiated this brand new track in more ways than one. Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Super Chevy Show. This edition of the Super Chevy Show is coming to you from a legendary and famous drag strip, Thunder Valley, USA, the Bristol International Dragway. Why is it so special? Because this is the first ever drag race at the new Bristol Dragway. It was originally constructed back in 1965 by Carl Moore and Larry Carrier. It's where the first ever NHRA Spring Nationals were conducted. Later, it was switched to AHRA, and then eventually, in 1970, the International Hot Rod Association was formed, and it stayed with the IHRA until about a year ago. Bruden Smith purchased the track from the late Jim Ruth and decided to renovate the track in a way you're not going to believe. He completely decimated and destroyed the old Bristol Dragway. Now, the Bristol Dragway, built back in 1965, was a state-of-the-art facility for the mid-60s. It had the first big tower in the history of drag racing, with custom suites for manufacturers and sponsors, press room, a big, huge control room, and, well, about everything you could possibly imagine. No one else had a tower like that until Billy Meyer built the Texas Motorplex back in the mid-80s. So for about 20 years, Bristol was the state-of-the-art facility, the first racetrack to ever have concrete walls. Huge grandstands out of concrete used to be built into the side of the mountain area. It had nice restrooms and concessions for the mid-1960s and a complete pro pit area that was paved. That was unheard of back in the mid-60s. Then, of course, Bristol Dragway became very outdated. It was Bruden Smith and Jeff Bird, the general manager of the facility, that decided it was time for drag racing to take another step up. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the state-of-the-art facility. Remember the old dog leg that was in the Bristol Dragway as Larry Carrier had to weave between the mountains of East Tennessee? The dog leg is completely gone. The shutdown is still slightly uphill, but the quarter mile no longer runs downhill. It used to go slightly downhill. There's a good safety sand pit at the end to catch runaway top fuelers or funny cars. And the return road that used to meander and weave up through the paved pit area is now a straight shot. So Bruden Smith and Jeff Bird not only have the state-of-the-art in NASCAR short tracks, they have, without question, the finest quarter-mile drag strip in the United States. And today, this is the inaugural drag race. Not the first Super Chevy Show ever, but the first ever drag race at this brand new facility. And the stars of that drag race, as they are at every Super Chevy Show, will be those Nitro Coupe. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Doug Winters and Dave Graytag. A good look off that brand new tower here at Thunder Valley, the Bristol Dragway, as they'll stage them up. The final move into those staging beams, and they're off and at it. Give the starting line advantage to Graytag right out of the chute in the far lane. Oh, what a drag race. Winters dips him. 6:57, 214 miles per hour. I cannot believe the finish, and neither can Doug Winters' wife, as she is delighted. She has stopped Dave Graytag. This coverage brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment. 30 years of low prices and expert advice. And by Precision Gear. When your rear end is on the line, depend on Precision Gear. We'll be back. A very important part of every Super Chevy Show. You see the NASCAR round track there in the background, but we're all about drag racing. The first ever drag race on this brand new strip, Melly's Mega Power Corvette burns out against Dan Nicholson. These drivers have never run on this track before, and with more on that, here's Brett Kepner.
Well, Ted, while every single thing has changed about Thunder Valley, nothing has changed more than the actual racing surface itself. In fact, these brand new cross under bridges go beneath the brand new concrete first eighth mile. And the old drag strip surface is 10 feet below the